Well, hello again, everybody. I'm Dr. JD LaRock, the president and CEO of NFTE, the Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship. And welcome back once again to another episode of Entre News, our recurring interview series where I chat with NFTE students, alumni, educators, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders to discuss all the facets of the entrepreneurial journey from the classroom to the corner office. And it is my great pleasure today to welcome two NFTE alumni, Nadia Mitchell and Jan Baker. Hello, welcome to both of you.
Hi, hey JD, how are you?
I'm great. Great to see you. Great to have you with
Good to
us
see
for
you
this.
again.
Nadia, you're a certified Reiki master teacher, life coach, and meditation guide. And Jan, you're the founder of the Innovashion Group. Did I get that right?
Nope, innovation.
Innovation, of course, innovation.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to you both. Nadia, let's start with you. Tell us a little bit about your NFTE origin story. Where and when did you take the NFTE class, and what was your business idea?
I found NFTE a few years after I started the Victorian Hands Foundation, which is a nonprofit organization with a focus of enhancing awareness and respect among younger generations for our elderly. I was fortunate enough to meet Steve Mariotti at an event, and he shared more information about NFTE. And soon after that, I was able to take the Biz Camp in New York in 2003. So that's how I got into NFTE.
Fantastic. Jan, what about you?
I took the in-class program at Harriet Truman High School in the Bronx with Mr. Smith. That was my teacher. So it was actually part of my grade to graduate from school. And I took it as a senior in the year 2000.
I know both of you are friends.
Mm-hmm.
And did you meet through NFTE?
Yeah, we did.
It's a story behind that, by the way.
So let's tell that story. That's a great story. I mean, you are good friends. You've been friends for a long time. I love the fact that NFTE, in addition to fostering great businesses, can foster great friendships. So please tell the story.
Actually, we're best friends. So I have to let you connect you on that one. I was Nadia's maid of honor at her wedding, and I'm her child's godmother. So she's definitely been there for me, and I've been there for her. So there are bigger connections from with entrepreneurship than just being students. And I don't know if you want to tell the story, Nadia, but
I think your version will be more comical.
Yeah, so Nadia actually was working for NFTE. So I'm not only a NFTE student, I was a NFTE former employee and NFTE certified entrepreneurship teacher. So I've got the whole shebang. And we went to Washington, D.C. to go to a entrepreneurship conference for students in 2003, I think. And yeah, we met actually in the office at 120 Wall Street, but then we got closer at the conference and we were actually stuck because Amtrak was having a delay and we were stuck in Union Station and we're like, we should move here one day. I actually did move to Washington, D.C. Nadia stayed back home in New York, but yeah, we became actually friends through crisis.
We both ended up taking a cab and rushing to the train station only to find out that it was delayed. So we were like sitting on the floor, and that's how we got to know each other, because we used to pass each other a lot at 120 Wall Street, but we never really had a full conversation until that day.
Wow, that's fantastic. So train delay leads to best friends. I love that. Let's talk a little bit about your endeavors, your businesses. Jan, what does the Innovation Group do? How did you come up with the idea?
Sure. So innovation is a portmanteau of innovative and fashion. So in 2014, so 10 years ago, I produced one of the first wearable technology shows. We featured wearable tech with Google, Samsung, Adidas, and partnered with Washington, D.C. government. And we actually got on the cover of the Washington Post. And I realized in that process that those who are in tech actually have a problem speaking to those in fashion. My background was in tech. I was a content programmer and product manager at Verizon, building technology and helped actually launch the first Android device. And, decided, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur. I always use my entrepreneurial skills, but I wanted to go out on my own. And I saw this as an option. The techies and the creative people, they don't speak well together. So I became the intermediator to build products. And it also, since the fashion show was an event, I realized that, it's an experience, and everything that we do now is an experience, and we live in an experience economy. It's not about what products and services actually do anymore. It's how they make you feel. So we focus on experience design and service design when building products, which means in person and building, melding the digital with the physical. So if you're at an experience like an event, also building the technology, but the event doesn't start when you get to the actual event. It starts well before, building a relationship with the customer, the end user, the attendee, and also maintaining that relationship after the event is over. So it's all end-to-end experience design.
That's fantastic, and that is so much of what we're seeing more of in the business world that people crave,
Yeah,
right? They crave a deeper connection with the
absolutely.
businesses that they patronize.
Right.
Nadia, how about you? You're an entrepreneur, you're a nonprofit executive. Tell us about your journey and your current endeavors.
It has been quite a journey. So I started my nonprofit back in 1994, then renamed it in honor of my aunt, Victoria, in 1998. Shortly after I found Nifty, actually, I would say a few years after, I decided to open a day spa in my neighborhood of Crown Heights, Brooklyn. Jewel in the crown. I had estheticians, massage therapists. Jan was definitely very helpful during that period as well, and getting the word out. And Nifty was amazing. I had opportunities to speak with the Daily News, for example, and I received the Entrepreneurial Award that year too. So it was a really great time, and I was able to give back to my community and actually have my first brick and mortar, which was pretty awesome. I will say, not as easy as a lot of people may think. Everyone wants to own a business, everyone wants to have a brick and mortar, but they have no idea, at least those that don't know have no idea what it really takes and the stress that's behind it. Here I was running this day spa, but I was stressed out about, making rent every month and making sure that my employees showed up on time and that my client satisfaction was at a high rate. So customer service and just cleanliness of the space, for example, were super important, all while dealing with other challenges, but still showing up. I decided to actually close a year after opening. So in 2008, I closed and decided to go back to the workforce and continued my journey of working in the nonprofit sector, mostly in Manhattan and Brooklyn, always serving seniors in some capacity of leadership or, running the senior center and enhancing it and bringing it from failing to A plus and working with the Department for the Aging, for example. And in 2016, I decided to take my first Reiki class after receiving Reiki for many years, not even knowing the name of it initially, but becoming more serious about getting regular sessions. And I continued to go from Reiki level 1, Reiki level 2 to advanced Reiki, and then became a Reiki certified, I should say a certified Reiki master teacher, which was not really the plan, but it just felt so natural. So I did that all while working full time, decided to start offering it to friends and family. And from there, a business grew. Reiki with Nadia began, and I'm proud to say that July will be 8 years since I've been practicing as a practitioner. And after each session, I would find that I would still be there an hour after I was done speaking to my clients, which then led me to become certified as a life coach and as a spiritual life coach, and then eventually a meditation and mindfulness guide. So everything really happened organically when it comes to my Reiki with Nadia business. I've been able to work in person. I have a space, an actual office in Colmac, New York, and I've worked nationally with clients in England and Barbados, upstate New York, everywhere you can imagine, even Washington State. So it's been a pretty awesome journey, and I'm still doing that while working full time as a director of development at a nonprofit on Long Island.
Wow, that's amazing. And I hear two things in what you just shared. One, when you talk about the Reiki business, among other things, but I hear echoes of Jan's point about what you did that provided your clients, your customers with a deeper experience that they were looking for, right? That's why they were engaging with you well after the classes ended. But also, I mean, that journey just embodies the entrepreneurial mindset domain of flexibility. You have done so many different things, but I imagine utilized many of the same skill sets to do those things.
Most definitely,
Yeah.
definitely transferable skills, but a nice diverse mix for sure. You can apply it anywhere.
I want to ask you, because we don't so often get the opportunity to talk to two program alumni who are also friends. What has the fact that you have been friends, such close friends with each other, as you each have gone along these journeys of entrepreneurship, what has that meant to you? How have you supported each other? What do you think? What do you think entrepreneurs need in terms of support from others as they go along their own journeys, and how did it play out for each of you together?
Entrepreneurship is really lonely. And I think, I feel like there's a difference between entrepreneurs and wantrepreneurs. Like some people want to be an entrepreneur and some people are ready to, dive in and do it. It's just very hard work and it's really lonely. And, Nadia talked about Jewel in the Crown Spot. I remember coming to help her, helping to get clients for her, booking parties for her. And it wasn't easy. Even some of the people I sent for Nadia weren't easy to deal with. What Nadia did is monumental because in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, kind of before gentrification, right? She was bringing a wellness experience to an area where people work really, really hard. It's predominantly Caribbean and in Hasidic Jews. And you know what I mean? Like that's a luxury. That's not something that you would necessarily take the money out of your pocket to do, right? This is pre-Instagram, pre-YouTube, right? That this is before everything blew up on social media, where you've got these constant messages of people telling you that you need to be well, right? So, I know I showed up. She showed up for me many times, but there's been times where she'll just call me and say, "Hey, I've got this new business idea." I call her and tell her I have this new business idea, and it's really important to have somebody to bounce ideas off of, who can join you in thought leadership and also just be a sounding board.
It's very easy to give up as well. I mean, there's so
Mhm.
many times that you feel alone, and having a support network is important. And sometimes it's not necessarily family that you get that from, and that's fine. That's where voids are filled in other ways, and that's why it's so important to associate yourself with organizations such as NFTE and other organizations that get together and put you around like-minded professionals and people that inspire you to aim higher and be confident in your ability to move forward in achieving your goals. But yeah, like Jan said, I really wanted to bring Manhattan to Brooklyn. And at
Mhm.
that time, that was not happening in my neighborhood. So it was pretty interesting. It was well received. It was just very stressful and perhaps not the right time for me personally in that moment because of, challenges. And that's a whole nother conversation, I would say. Things can be going right with you, but not necessarily with the people who you're associated with or your business is associated with. So there's been challenges with that, and it's unexpected, but you have to learn to adapt.
Nadia was talking about being a high level professional at another organization, right? Because we know that when you're an entrepreneur, it's about the feast and the famine. Sometimes you'll have a lot of business and sometimes you won't. And to supplement your income and, you have responsibilities, sometimes you do have to take a job and you're an entrepreneur at the same time. Right now, I am the COO also of a company called Cybernetics Global, which we focus on managed IT services, cybersecurity. We have partners with Google and LaRock and Amazon. But I still run my business on the side, and it's really important to be able to balance that. And I think entrepreneurs are kind of crazy, right? We have to have that energy to be able to multitask. Even though people say don't multitask, but you've got to be able to keep a lot of balls in the air to be able to run your business and then be an entrepreneur and run other people's businesses with the skills, especially a lot of them that we learn at NFTE within another organization.
It's so good that you mentioned that and that are both being so candid about aspects of the journey, its rigor, its loneliness, the setbacks that are expected and unexpected, the context around you and how that affects things. I think it's why so many people are. I love the wantrepreneurs. The people are excited about it, but then they start doing it and they realize, oh, there's nothing easy about it at all. It's so
Well,
wonderful that you've had each
yeah.
other to support each other like that. And that's why, we have this volunteer and mentor support model. It's to provide some measure of that, with our learners who may or may not have that in their classrooms or families or communities.
I think it's really important to be candid because you've got Shark Tank that's romanticize like venture capital and getting funding, right? Like people think, okay, I'm just going to do a presentation, show up, and somebody's going to cut me a check, and it's not how it goes. And also, Nadia and I are from Caribbean families, right? First generation, and we have been told like, go get good jobs. We invested in your education. What are you trying to run your own business? Just become a doctor, lawyer, engineer.
Mm.
And we have been bucking against the system. And if we didn't have each other in many situations, I'm not particularly sure what would have happened because when you have a dream and you're so passionate about it, it's really important to have somebody also who's going to be honest with you if something's a good idea or if it's not, but also give you the support that you, like Nadia said, that you might not be getting elsewhere.
It's also important to believe in yourself because just like Jan said, perhaps you have negativity around you or people that are discouraging you from moving forward with whatever that goal is. So it's really important to keep pressing forward. I know that the goal for a lot of people is to do their business full time and say goodbye to their full times, and at one point I felt like, people were shunned for having their 9 to 5, Jan, and trying to run their business. It's like, oh, that's not really serious. Like, it wasn't taken as seriously because you're not doing it full time, not realizing that it's a process to get to that point successfully, and that you shouldn't be so quick to leave your 9 to 5 and just engross yourself in your business just because you made your first dollar. That stability is not confirmed. You kind of have to have a track record, and you need to see certain things. And another point that Jan made earlier that I wanted to touch upon is, with entrepreneurship, there's that uncertainty, especially depending on the type of business you're in. If you're service based and it's not a necessity, it's supplemental or complementary or holistic approach, and it's not necessarily being recommended by doctors. It's something that a person's not going to necessarily do if their budget will not allow or if they don't have to. So it's been really difficult to base or create a budget and base finances on the possibility of a person booking several sessions this week versus none. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that uncertainty as well, you kind of have to prepare yourself for that as an entrepreneur too.
There's so much real talk that both of you are sharing right now, and I love it because I wish we had, well, we're gonna have many people watching this, but I wish we had people here right now, current Nifty students listening to it, because I love the combination of the real talk, but also the optimism at the same time, to say, don't be discouraged by that. And Nadia, I totally resonate with your point. There are a lot of people who will discourage entrepreneurs on their journey, and that's one of the things that maybe we don't talk about enough. Following your dreams, but doing it in a rigorous way is the way to do it, and to be aware of all the pitfalls, but not to be discouraged.
I also want to say there's also your job is harder now because we took Nifty 20 something years ago. We're not going to say the number, right? Back then, you didn't have constant images coming from all different places and messages saying you can start your business on Monday and you'll be a millionaire by Friday. I think what Instagram and YouTube a lot of times will put out the message like, this is easy, anybody can do it, and it's going to be fast money, right? You see all of these celebrities that have their own lines and that they're already coming in there with money. And the problem is, I think what social media does a lot of the time is it doesn't go through the process of like product market fit and actually validating your idea. It's like everybody wants to take the elevator and not the stairs, right? And there's no shortcuts to this. Like, you have to actually grow your business and grow your customer base and do it. No matter how many times people try to make it seem like you can accelerate the way it's supposed to be done. Yeah, some people win, right? Some people win, but we hear more stories about people who may be making it up than the truth. And nobody wants to hear the hard stories, but it's the hard stories that's going to get people to be realistic about this process.
Nadia, what is next for your endeavors? And then Jan, what's next for your endeavors?
Yeah. Before I answer that, I just wanted to share one thing, especially before I lose my train of thought. For those people who, are thinking of starting something, but someone else has done it, or perhaps you started a business and someone else does something similar, I'd love to encourage them to still move forward with their idea and know that no one's going to do it like you. Sometimes people get discouraged because someone else kind of steals their idea or has the same idea, and there's similarities. But look at me. I mean, there's several Reiki master teachers in my area. I could easily be discouraged and say, you know what, I'm going to close up shop. But just do it well, differentiate yourself, and you'll be okay. But as far as your question, what's next for me is just to continue growing my business. I actually think I'm going to move forward with adding decluttering services where I can actually clear spaces too with Reiki. And I'll definitely continue to offer certification classes to those who are interested in learning Reiki themselves.
Fantastic. And Jan?
Yeah, I'm going to be focusing on immersive experiences, especially telling stories with people of color. So original content and experience that you can walk through that focuses on stories that are not necessarily told.
Let me wrap up with this question. right now, as we're filming this, we're in a period of the school year where we're going through the regional competitions, identifying the pool of 40 or so students who will go on to the nationals in October. And as I've been going around the country, I've been saying to the students, um, wherever you place in the regionals, if you're going on to nationals, don't be discouraged if you didn't place first, because it's a fresh start at nationals, and you have the opportunity to, continue to work on your business between now and then. So if you had some words of advice to give to our regional finalists who are going on to nationals, they're doing a good job with their pitches, because they've gotten that far, which in itself is a great achievement. But they have an opportunity to do even more. Some might still be in the idea stage. Good number will have prototypes. And we actually have a couple of several active businesses in the pool thus far. What would be a couple points of advice that each of you would give to them?
One thing that comes to mind is dress to impress, dress to impress. Actually put that suit on, or just get dressed up, look the part. And I don't know, there's something about dressing up that makes you feel better and more confident as well, especially in your presentations. And people definitely take you more seriously as well. So just being aware of your attire is what comes to mind for me.
Jan, how about you?
And I think it's important also to open up and offer support, right? I know that I'm a busy professional, but I still keep in touch with my NFTE mentors, right? So as we talked about how lonely things are, it is to do this. I offer up, hey, do you want to meet? Let's have a time to sit down, and just offer up encouragement to the students if they want to, because some people will reach out and some won't. And those who actually reach out are those, to me, who will be the most successful, because they put their foot forward to say, you know what, I want to be better. I want to keep in touch. I want to grow my network. So I think it's important to also let the students know that, there are resources, and even resources in the alumni network, where you can connect with somebody who's been in your shoes already, to lean on them, to ask them questions and gain some advice.
Just for them to take what they can from each experience. Like, even if it doesn't work out or pan out the way that they would hope, it's still a learning experience. So be sure to take from that, so that you can continue to grow and, enhance your chances as you continue moving through your journey.
Fantastic advice. I'm going to recommend, actually, that all of our regional winners view this episode of Entre News, because you have shared so much wisdom from your own experiences with NFTE, and then subsequently in your lives, that I feel that our students will really benefit from what you've had to say today. It's really great to spend time with you. We see each other at different events from time to time, and you're always so good about coming up to me and saying hello and expressing, affection for NFTE and support for me and the team and what we're trying to do. I want you to know how much I really appreciate that personally. It's very empowering for me to know that there are people in the NFTE community like you who care so much about it and feel so positively about it. So thank you. Listeners, viewers, thank you so much for viewing this latest episode of Entre News. I'm Dr. JD LaRock. Jan, Nadia, thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your valuable experience and expertise with everybody watching, and we will see you next time. Take care.